Okay, we are back. Tips on Las Abejas. Well, at the beginning part of this piece, it's really common to go and play everything the same volume, but really focus on playing just this A at the right volume. So the rest is accompaniment. So everything else here is these other notes of the arpeggio aren't as important. You have to make sure that this rings throughout the rest of this arpeggio. Same here, thing here. So this needs to ring through. And what score did I use? You know what? I am not remembering right now. Send me a message, I'll get back to you. I can see in my sheet music what it is. I think it's the Richard Stover version. Anyone have technique-related questions? We'll go ahead and go over it now. Hello, those of you just joining. I'm also streaming live on YouTube. This is kind of just a preview for my Thursday class, which every Thursday at 7:30, and there's a subject each time, like sometimes it's stretches, sometimes it's slur, sometimes it's scales, tremolo, and so on. Love to see you guys there. Let's see, what are some other tips? Try to keep your right hand in the same position. You don't want to have it moving a lot because it's really necessary that it's really necessary to stay stable there. Great question. Vibrato. So, yes, a tip on vibrato would be to stay relaxed. That's a really big part of it. But a lot of times we think it's this thing that's supposed to just be natural, and we just try to shake our hand, and we think eventually it's just going to sound natural. But the great performer and teacher Adam Holtzman taught me once actually I watched him teach us in a master class, and it's to practice actually doing it rhythmically. So set a metronome. So say this was the tempo that you were playing at. So a relatively slow piece. Maybe the piece was, I don't know, let me think of the melody. A melody that's a similar tempo. Anyways, if this is the tempo, first practice going and really slowly, you can barely hear it. Try to stay relaxed and just rock your hand back and forth. Then, so this is still, so it feels very strange to use vibrato that slow, but it gets you used to doing this rhythmically. Because the problem is someone will be playing a line but they'll do vibrato like this. And it makes no sense, right? It's because this would be if the tempo was and the tempo is da 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 dum da dum dum da. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, you see this? Now, of course, when you're actually playing the vibrato, you're not counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like you're not doing this, right? It's just what comes naturally after practicing it this way. So if you set the metronome and then you just do the different subdivisions, starting with. This is the most difficult one to do it very, very slow because you're going to instinctually be like this, which is like, obviously super mechanical and not how you want to actually feel. But if you can stay slow and do it rhythmically and then do the double speed, so this is the tempo. Double speed beat. Oh, sorry. So, da, 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 da. Single would be, then it would be. So important here not to go, but almost like moving this part of your finger like smoothly, not like stopping at each end, but keeping it in motion the entire time. And then so this is, I don't have a metronome out right now, but this is how you would do it. What's up, people on YouTube? Questions from any of you? Let me know. You guys can watch this on YouTube by clicking the link in my bio as well if you want to bring it up on a bigger screen. Yeah, no problem. And of course, but to not finish, I don't want to finish there with that, but hi, oh, I don't speak Spanish, I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Lucas. Okay, anyways, do this, doing it like this, with the metronome, do one finger, then, and then doing the double speed. Then the next subdivision. So I'm counting 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. George, what's up? Oh yeah, sure. So, and by the way, sorry about the vertical mode here. I started the live stream vertically on YouTube, so it wouldn't let me change it once. If I turn it sideways, I guess for you guys, I'll just be on my side. George asks on YouTube, working on the Sarabande from 1007, any tips on trill stylistically and technically? Stylistically difficult. I would say the tips for stylistically talking about trills is to listen to a cellist play it, because since that was originally written for cello, listen to how, now not just any random student cellist, like listen to good ones. Go maybe on Naxos and listen to some previews there, or just any professional recordings. Oh, Lucas, okay, you were asking, you're saying you didn't know how to work trill, or what am I thinking of here? You were trying to work on vibrato and didn't know how to work on it. But yes, that's a great way to do it. So, George asked, so anyways, I was saying stylistically, yeah, listen to cellists play, because sometimes guitarists will do some really wacky things, and it sounds really out of place if you're playing it for someone that actually knows the music much better, a cellist would. But technically, same sort of thing I was saying with the vibrato is to stay relaxed, because, and also don't do the trill unless it serves the music well. Like if you're really struggling with it, then just leave it out if you're performing. Just make sure you don't actually do it unless it's adding something. It's an ornament, which means it's supposed to be like adding to the music, like a little special thing, not like some sort of like flashy technical thing. So I would say keep it simple in the beginning, especially that Sarabande. I know you're probably playing the 1D, right? But I used to do it like this. You don't need to do or anything crazy like that, right? But do little mordants. Oh shoot. What's up, Kenneth? And just stay relaxed. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, like that, right? Oh, George, here's a great tip, and for anyone with trills, this is something that my former professor had told me that one of his students had done before, and it really helped. And I do this from time to time, and I feel like it's really helped me, actually. It's really simple and sounds stupid, but pick a fret, like say 5th fret, and then just do a trill, like 2-1, and do it for a minute. Like if your hand starts hurting, like physical pain, like it feels like a tendon is stretching too much, then stop. But I would literally do this. I would start a stopwatch and then trill for like an entire minute. And it gets really hard towards the end. Like in the beginning, even the first 15 seconds are difficult. But like, you know, you might end up doing this like, and it's not even a trill anymore, but that's okay. It's building muscle. And try to stay as relaxed as possible on the back of the neck here. Don't end up like squeezing like this. And you can even experiment lifting your thumb off, just to see like how much you're pressing. It shouldn't be an abundant amount of pressure. So let's call that 40 seconds. I don't know where we're at, but I'm gonna guess somewhere around there. Maybe someone's doing this as well. Kenneth, I'm curious how long you can do this for, probably a while. Okay, I'm gonna call this minute now. So probably right here is like burning the top of your arm, right? For me it is, and I do this kind of often. But the thing is, it's pain in the beginning, but then when you come back to do it, slurs feel much more powerful, especially when it's only a couple. Not right away though. You have to give yourself some time to rest. What I usually do after that is instead of going to 3-2, I go to 4-3, so we're not involving these two at all. We're just skipping to a new group. And 4-3 is the hardest one, so it's kind of like, let's get that out of the way. So we'll go here maybe. Wonderland, good question. Technique related, I'm not sure, but I can talk about that. What's up, people on YouTube? Any technique related questions while we keep on going through these trills? Curious how you guys are keeping up with these. Usually, I haven't done this 4-3 one in a while. But actually doing this makes me feel pretty warmed up for my slurs in general. Do it for an hour. Yeah, Kenneth says, if you do it for an hour, you'll never have to practice again. No. What is the exercise that you recommend for practicing vibrato? Oh, that's what I was showing you, Lucas. I thought that's what you had asked. Anyways, so that's somewhere around a minute. That's probably more like 40 seconds, but then you do 3-2 for a minute. And also make sure your hand isn't turning like this to cheat, to where you don't really have to press as hard. Make sure your hand's still like in the normal playing position. So if you needed to go, anyways, that you could, or if you needed to, it's kind of fun to like, you know, be at your limit here and then see if you can get out like a little burst of a few faster notes. Just as long as it keeps on going, I think, and you're feeling the burn, then it's good. And then I push a little bit past the burn feeling. Not into pain, but it burns. Like if you were lifting weights, like, you know, if you're lifting, if you're doing like curls at the gym, it's kind of like that feeling. I'm being so specific because it's so easy to develop injuries, so I'm trying to be careful not to lead anyone the wrong way. Whew. Okay, so that's a while. And then you do 4-2, 3-1, and 4-1. And then, you know, maybe you take a break and you do some right hand stuff, and then you come back and you'll see how easily you're doing trills. Right now, if you were to try a trill right after doing it, you'd probably feel worse because you're tense. but that strength will help you, especially doing longer extended drills. Yeah, right now that's feeling harder than before, but it won't be in a little while. 4-2 is another good one. And then, you can mix it up and do something like just continuing doing all sorts of different trills. Actually, this kind of takes away. I think that like what I said to do originally would be best, because if you start shifting here, it's kind of giving your hands a break, which it's also making you concentrate on other things. It's such a focused, specific exercise. But I feel much better about my drills since practicing that, so. Okay, other technique-related questions? Oh, shoot, okay. Wonderland asked about choosing competition pieces, and then okay, however you say your name, how can I speed up my left-hand shifts? That's more technically related. Wonderland, for me, it's just pieces that I really like that I think are hard enough for competition, but not popularly played in competition. It's more difficult though. We could chat some other way, but on here, I'm not sure if that's a good subject to talk about right now. How can we speed up my left-hand shifts? I'd recommend Carlavaro book 3. It's very good for left-hand shifting. It starts with this exercise that goes, let's see, how does it go? Shoot. And the point in doing this, if we went over actually my last Thursday class, so you should sign up for that, seriously. The link is in my bio to do that, but we went over for a half an hour these types of shifting exercises. That was actually the subject last week, I believe, last Thursday. But anyways, after you do this, you can do 1 and 3. And if you go up that high, that's shifting all the way to the 7th fret. And the goal when you're doing these is to keep your arm moving rather than position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, like that. So this helps with your shifting, because when you're making a big shift, you don't want it to be like this, right? Because you're throwing your guitar around, it's not going to be accurate. You want it to still be a smooth motion, but fast. And that's the kind of thing. So now I'm watching my arm to see how I'm doing. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. One is going to be like shifting really wacky, and then the other one's going to be smooth. So this is the really jumpy shifting. And the music really it reflects how I'm shifting. And then smooth shifting would be more like this. As you can see, my hand it's not jumping from position to position, it's just paying special attention and just make it glide rather than jump. But also, something you want to avoid is not making a descending glissando on the way back down. It's easy to do this, I'll show you. It starts sounding like this. And then the biggest shifts are when you do this with 1 and 4. So it's really hard to make this not position 1, position 2, position 3. Anyways, okay, a bunch of people watching this on YouTube, so let's hear, what do you guys have questions for? How can I speed up my right hand speed when playing scales? Oh, let's see. I do playing and I have knee feel pain and knee pain. Okay, we'll get to that. But how can I speed up my speed when playing scales? A really good idea is pick whatever scale you're working on. Say it's just, and don't just start slow and speed up. That's the most common thing to do. But also do things like this. Just vary the rhythm. Because what you're doing is basically making half of the notes. Half of your playing fast and half of it slow. So it's manageable and you don't get tense. Oh, how is this? And like playing this speed is very manageable. And then doing it the other way, instead of going da-da-da-da, you go ba-ba-da. So you see the difference is these two notes are close together in the first exercise, and then the other way, these two notes are further apart, and then the second and third notes are closer together. So then go back the other way. And then you play it all the way through. It makes you feel more relaxed. And try to feel it as one, things like this. Or don't think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Think da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And singing it and conducting it works really well too. Breaking into fragments. And it all comes together. Anyways, another really good one I like is at the very end of the Isnaiola Kythera Logos book. And you go like this. It's a chromatic scale. And first you do little groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you let yourself relax in between. And your string crossing is different each time. See, now we're back at the beginning. And then you do a group of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, well 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Let yourself relax between each. And then once you're feeling good about that, you do groups of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1. So. Anyways, not warmed up right now, but that's how you do it. And then before you know it, you're playing that whole... What? Kenneth, it says you sent a message, but then it says retracted, so I don't know what you're saying. Lucas asked, do you have a technique practice routine and how do you practice it? I do. It changes quite often based on like what I'm feeling weak at. How do I practice it? Usually towards the end of the day I do my technique, just so that I don't feel like I always have to do my technique before I play well. But how do I practice it? Well, I go through the different things that I need to work on. So like right now I'm doing a lot of Carlovaro arpeggios, so just like right hand arpeggio practice, and I get through all the different combinations. But really, my recommendation for you based on that question would just be to get a technique book and go through it, like Scott Tennant's Pumping Nylon, Ricardo Niziola's Guitar Logos, Abel Carlavaro's books, and you're drunk? No, I'm not, Miguel. Are you alright, dude? Okay, so anyways, go through all of those and then put, that's what I was getting to. After you print it out or you buy the book or whatever it is, put stars next to the ones that are difficult for you and then try to make those not difficult. Try to make it like the same difficulty as the other ones. And then once it's there, you'll have new difficult ones. I think that's a pretty foolproof way to go about it. If you just go through a technique book and things that are the most hard, put stars next to it. Make them not so hard. Practice them a lot. So that's a good way to go about technique, because that means you're actually getting better rather than just like repeating the same exercises over and over and over again. Let's see. I'm interested in classical guitar, but sustained a flexor tendon injury on my index finger on my fretting hand. Would the busyness of the style work in a modified method? I can't answer that question, and I'm scared to, because I don't know the severity of your condition, and I recommend going to like a hand doctor, a specialist for hands, and talk to them about that. I can't answer that for you. I'm sorry though, that sucks. Yes, awesome, Lucas. Yeah, exactly. Well, if you know those books, go through the Tennant book, and maybe the one that's hard for you is, I don't know, with your third and fourth finger, this one, right? We all know this one. So make it to where it's like not so hard anymore. And once it is, just go on and pick another one. It's a really good one. We were doing these today in one of my classes. The other day I was trying to do two of these at the same time, like, I mean, you can't hear them all, but switching both sets of fingers. See that? Oh, jeez. That's so difficult. I wonder if there's anyone watching that can do that. Oh, shoot. You can't even see what I'm doing here, but this is how it goes. Oh, God. And to move your fingers simultaneously to the next position, too, is the tough part. So that they all land at the same time. Oh. It takes so much concentration. It's like, if you do it fast, your muscle memory might be able to get you there. But try to do it really slow. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Here we go again. I guess you could do it like this, to where everything was on a different note so that you could hear them all. But that's just a whole nother layer to think about. There. Oh my God. Oh, there it is again. Again. Oh, it's not so bad when you actually have notes to set on. Oops. I'm lost. Anyways, it's a fun one to try. So the person that asked about this flexor tendon injury that you had, were you a guitar player before? Or you're just interested in classical guitar as like your first type of guitar? Did you get that injury from guitar playing? I'm just curious about your situation now. But, yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a new exercise that I'm going to try to get better at. What's up, Chris? Check this out, man. It's like Scott Tennant's pumping nylon exercise, right? But with both hands, or with both sets of fingers, like 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. So on the same string, it's a little easier if you put all your fingers on the same string. I don't know that one, actually, Lucas. God. Oh, I got lost. Oh, I'm actually getting better at this. It's so much harder slow, though, because right now I'm doing this like, oh, shoot. Right now I'm doing it where, oh, hey, Violet. Yes, I did see your email, but I'm sorry. It's a lot to respond to right now, and it's been a busy couple weeks. But I will get back to you. I'm sorry, but thank you. It was a very nice email. You're so welcome, Lucas. Yeah, and then try doing it not on the same string, but so here we go, and then oh no, it would be like this. And also just plucking the right notes. Back to this one. Well, anyways, I'll leave you guys with that, huh? Okay, LTCJWE. Do you have exercises for bar chords, full and partial, to ensure all notes sound clearly? Have read the index finger not need to be pressed hard in consideration of the fingers below that are already pressing, but have found that guidance difficult to follow. Yes. Guess you got cool, Chris. I hate to tell you, man, but I think that he gives those to everyone to schedule lessons and stuff. Yes, that's a great question. So those of you on Instagram that can't see this, on YouTube someone asked about bar chords and how to make sure you're not applying too much pressure. And I know I've taught this one before, but cool, Chris. Call him up and tell him about the new exercise. Anyways, yes. So to answer your question about bar chords, pick the 5th fret here, okay? And start, act like you're gonna do a full bar, but try to make every note buzz in the bar, which, you know, is something that we always hate to do, but start with your first finger. Sorry, start with the 6th string and make a buzz. Yeah, Evan says hi. And then add the 5th string, make them both buzz. And then add the 4th. It's pretty difficult to do this, but don't mute it. You don't want to hear this. You want to hear this. So you're buzzing the first 3 strings here on purpose. No muted though, all buzz. So you don't want this. This is what you want. So again, add in another. Gets more difficult. Make sure they're all buzzing. Play them together. Then add in the beat. This is not easy. It's just because I've done this a lot. It won't be easy for you, but it'll be very possible. And then buzz the 1st string. The most difficult one. Okay. Them all buzzing, and then so the goal is to be able to keep that same pressure and then make them all buzz. Oftentimes you're going to end up squeezing too hard on that 1st string. So this gives you an idea of how much you actually need to squeeze to make a bar chord sound. So what I want you to do after you do this is then actually squeeze for a bar chord, which is just a little bit more pressure. And it should feel very, very light of a touch. After you've gotten so used to how much you need to press, see, oftentimes we're hanging way too much on this end. Like you'll notice that with your first string. Okay, so everything's buzzing, and then make it not buzz by squeezing just a little bit more. Now, not hard like you were doing originally, but just enough to where you're like, oh, there might be some buzzing, but it's mostly gone. So, okay, buzzing, and then squeezing. And now, that is the hardest type of bar. If you were to do that with like a major chord, then it's going to be a lot easier. So do that now. The only chord, now remember, if you have these 3 fingers down, there's only 3 other strings that need to actually be used in the bar. So you have to keep in mind that when you do a bar on a major shape here, you don't need pressure on every single string. You only need it here, and then, so yeah, down here, and then the top 2 strings. So, buzz the top 2, and then the bottom. Good, and then now, make them not buzz. And then the ones in the center, if you were to take these off, should like be muted because you don't need pressure here. Anyways, buzz again. Good, see, I can literally buzz every note. And then just squeeze a little more. And I mean a little bit, like so barely, is what brings it from this to that. And by the way, to who asked this question here, LTC, it's great to practice this with scales too. So if you're going, it's especially important to do this while practicing playing loudly, because oftentimes when we play loud, we squeeze harder. That's not, it's totally unnecessary. So I like practicing really loudly and not pressing hard enough in the left hand. So see. Because then when you actually do go into play, you feel like you have a really light touch. So, all right, this has gone about 40 minutes. Guys, if you enjoyed this class, go to the link in my bio. It's patreon.com/EvanTauschter. Sign up for my Thursday class. Instead of it being like question and answer style, we go over a specific topic and really go in detail. And since it's a fewer number of people, we can get to questions very much in depth that you may have about that subject. And over time, we'll cover a ton of really important subjects. So I hope you sign up for it. It's still only $1 to sign up for the class. I hope to see some new faces there this Thursday. But yeah, have a good night, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks for all the YouTube comments this time. I'm glad to see you all here. And for those of you on Instagram, thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys later. See ya. Okay, I just ended the Instagram stream. Adios, Steven. Glad you were here. I'll talk to you later. See you guys.